It's time for Supply Chain Now Radio, broadcasting live from the supply chain capital of the country, Atlanta, Georgia. Supply Chain Now Radio spotlights the best in all things supply chain, the people, the technologies, the best practices, and the critical issues of the day. And now, here are your hosts.
Hey, good morning. Scott Luton here with you live on Supply Chain Now Radio. Welcome back to the show. On this episode, we're going to be continuing our full access series here on Supply Chain Now Radio, where we have been interviewing exceptional female leaders from across industry. Today, we're going to be spending time with a technology guru and a repeat guest. So more on that in just a minute. Quick programming note, like all of our series on Supply Chain Now Radio, you can find our replays on a variety of channels, Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, YouTube, wherever else you get your podcasts from. As always, we'd love to have you subscribe so you don't miss anything. So let's thank all of our sponsors real quick that allow us to bring these best practices and innovative ideas to you, our audience. The Effective Syndicate, ProPurchaser.com, SupplyChainRealEstate.com, and TalentStream. Many, many more. You can check out each of our sponsors on the show notes of the episode. So let's say hello to my esteemed co-host here today, Mr. Greg White, a successful supply chain technology entrepreneur, trusted advisor, and Hall of Fame Kansas City Chiefs fan. How you doing, Greg?
I'm doing great. Even despite yesterday.
I'm breaking out my crystal ball, and I see the Chiefs have a very bright future ahead. So we'll see how it plays out.
There were some good signs from yesterday. There were some terrible signs, but we've got a lot of injuries. And so anyway, hey, I know this is being recorded and will be released also at a later date, but today is not only Singles Day, so people will know the day this was recorded on. It's not only Singles Day, and they've already broken the record.
That's right.
For previous Singles Days, but also Veterans Day. So I'd like to thank all the vets out there, and our vet in here, Scott Luton, who many people probably don't even know if they don't listen to our Vetlanta Voice series that you're a veteran. So anyway, thank you for your service. Appreciate
that. And definitely big thanks to all the veterans that have served the country and defended what we enjoy here today. Being entrepreneurs and going out being able to make a living. We can't do that without the great service to our country that all of our veterans have provided. So appreciate that, Greg. Okay, well, I'm really excited about who our repeat guest we're having here today. Ms. Tania Allen, President and CEO, ItGresa Consulting Group Incorporated. How you doing?
Good. Thank you for the invitation. Happy to be here.
Yeah, great to have you.
Well, we enjoyed our...
newly awarded also.
Absolutely. You said duly awarded? Newly awarded.
We'll get to that later.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm a little bit slow on this Monday. So, Tania, we really have enjoyed your perspective. You're on the show back when we broadcast live from the Georgia Hispanic Chamber of Commerce a few months back. And either prior to that or just after that, I can't remember which, you came out and gave a keynote at a regional APICS event at Georgia Tech held for us. And we got a ton of feedback from both of those appearances beyond everything else you do. I think you've got an event you're speaking at this week. So thanks for carving out some time to be back here.
Thank you so much. Well, I'm glad that it went well.
Yes. Well, as we talk,
you always want good feedback.
Yes.
as we talk about, you are a technology subject matter expert, and given that the world of supply chain is our backdrop here at Supply Chain Now Radio, we can't talk enough about technology in general, but in particular cybersecurity, and that was a big thrust of your presentation at the APICS regional event. And I think that's one of the things that really resonated with a lot of our attendees. So. But with all that being said, let's dive into your story. One of the things we love most about this full access series is it gives us a chance beyond just a 15-minute snippet into some industry insights to get to know these fascinating leaders that are making things happen across industry. So are you ready?
Yes.
You buckled in?
Yes.
All right.
Good to go.
Good to go. So for starters, let's talk about what your firm does. And I think even before that, let's talk about the story behind the name.
So I am a serial entrepreneur. ItGresa came out of the name of in Venezuela, moonlighting is called Matando Tigres, Killing Tigers. So when you put the tigress is the tigresa, right? So when you put ItGresa, that's what we do. This is who we are. We help. We kill tigers and we hunt tigers, and we also help the business owners hunt their own tigers as well. So
that's great.
We can relate.
Yeah.
And we're talking. I won't say metaphorically, but is that right?
Yeah, let's say that.
We're two
worst guys to pick vocabulary from.
But clearly tigers can refer to technology, huge technology challenges, right?
Yes.
That can bite you, in the worst possible times. And we're also talking in the warm up just how much growth the organization's gone through, which is probably attributed to many different things, but probably the chief amongst them is just how so many folks are looking for solutions from a technology standpoint these days, right?
Yes, it's correct. And think about hunting a tiger is not easy challenge, right? So yes, you go after, you better know what you're doing, and if you don't know, at least you learn from the experience what you need to do. So that is where ItGresa comes, and as an entrepreneur, it's a learning process from the very beginning, where we are and where we're going, and we see all the challenges that other entrepreneurs and business owners are facing with all the tsunami of information and technology that people faces now these days.
And
even
if you're technologically savvy,
yes,
dealing with your IT issues is not what you want to do. I mean, your business, whatever your business is, right? As an entrepreneur, that business. You don't want to be, I can tell you for certain, we've experienced it here and I've experienced in previous businesses. You just want that stuff handled. So it's really valuable to an entrepreneur to be able to focus on your vision and not have to worry about all of the IT stuff.
Good point.
That's correct.
So if you can, and I know that you are helping across a spectrum of different solutions and challenges, but if you're to think about a couple of technology projects or engagements or needs that you're helping, give us a couple of examples of the types of projects that ItGresa is involved in.
Some of the projects, what we do help people when they come to us, because we do cybersecurity, web development, network security, social media and SEO, and we teach children robotics, and we talk to groups like you about entrepreneurship and what it takes to be a successful entrepreneur. When it comes to that, people comes like social media with a problem. I want to be more visible. Okay, what do you have online that you are not getting that visibility? Okay, is the information that you have there is helping your business or is helping attract hackers to go after
Don't
your
want
business?
the latter.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. So
I didn't even think about that as a possibility.
Exactly. So when people come to us, they come with a problem. But then when we start working with this person, with this business owner, we see what is their position in the cybersecurity aspect, right? Because all our services and products are with cybersecurity in mind, right? So that is the niche that we have. That is the service, the ñapa that we bring in.
Okay.
I like that.
That we bring in,
Okay.
So, and some of the projects, like for example, we did a company, a supply chain company, that they have presence in many places in the country and other countries. We did a phishing simulation to train their people and whatever. But when we start looking in depth before they even gave me the information, I already knew too much.
Really?
And I wasn't physically in their infrastructure and the installations and their headquarters. So what does it tell me? And that's something that they didn't do that just to attract hackers. They didn't do that, all the mistakes.
Right.
It was because it's lack of education to the business owners and the executive board.
Sure. They don't know what they don't know,
exactly.
Just like the rest of us.
That's correct. And so part of what we do is educate. Right.
Yep.
And they said, look, this is what we see online, which is not good. If I can see it from Georgia, somebody else can see it from the other side of the world.
Right.
Right. So we assess their physical, their online presence first, and we assess the physical presence. If I can see all this stuff online, I can imagine what you have.
Right.
In place.
Yeah.
So we ended up doing phishing simulations and training and customizing training for not only the employees, but for the CEO and the second in command as well.
You know what? With our fairly prominent social media presence, it makes me immediately think we need help.
Let me know. I can help you. If
we'll have to talk after the show.
Yes, I can see too much.
Yeah.
Trust me, too much is too much.
Yeah.
I will tell you.
Okay, great.
Yes, I'll be glad to help.
So what's your favorite part about all of this? I mean, you bring so much to the table. And, of course, being an entrepreneur, there's I think a lot of folks really enjoy you're doing this thing 1 hour, this thing the next hour. What's your favorite part about the whole shebang?
The favorite part of being an entrepreneur is that you can pick the projects that you want, which to me the more challenging ones.
And then you pass off the rest to somebody else.
Right,
Yeah.
and then pick my clients. Sorry, but that's true.
Yeah.
I get to control my agenda most of the time and my time. So, and the other thing is we get to try new technologies to apply for our own business. And with that, we put together products and services that we can offer to our clients as well, because we think, okay, work for us and make our life easier. Let's offer it to our clients as well. So we have in our house a maker shop. We buy every single gadget that comes to the market. We kind of pretty much reverse engineer and see how we can use it and apply it to our business.
Wow.
And then we offer it to our clients,
Wow, that's really cool.
Yep.
So you get to buy all the new gadgets. That's great.
Well, so we try to make money. So
Yes.
that is why we make the service and products, and we start selling it.
Well, that's kind of important to be an entrepreneur, right?
Yeah, it's fun. Exactly.
So let's change gears, and I want to move back in time a little bit. So tell us more about where you grew up.
I am originally from Venezuela. I come from a city called Maracaibo, and I was just telling you guys earlier that supposedly we don't speak proper Spanish because we speak like the Andalusians in Spain, right? But that makes us proud of who we are because we're a little bit different. We talk very sarcastically, we make a lot of jokes, and so
That's great.
So anyway, but yeah, that is where I come from. I came here in 1999 because politically Venezuela wasn't looking that was going in the right direction. So I'm glad I made the call to leave on time.
It's pretty brave. I mean,
it was.
Born and raised.
Did you have any support system here when you came here?
Nope. I came because in that time my mom just died, and I thought that it was a good time to get out, just to move away. And I came to study English because my English was very limited, and even though I was in computer and technology in my country, but I thought the opportunity to come and learn the language and, make myself more valuable as a professional speaking another language. So when I came, I did that. I went to Georgia Tech, learned English. It wasn't easy since I am a dyslexic. I'm not supposed to be okay with my own native language, but they have a great program and I learned, and it took a lot of effort, and, it went well. So
that's cool.
In the meantime, sorry.
So you came lived in Atlanta first, right when you immigrated into the country.
Yes.
Outstanding.
And the reason that I knew about Atlanta because I saw the Olympic Games in 1996, and I thought it was beautiful. And I said, what a beautiful city, you know?
And you were right. It is.
It is. It is. We haven't moved anywhere. I haven't moved anywhere. So I came to live by Georgia Tech and some of those apartments by there. And it was just really convenient. And, you know, in the meantime that I was there, they did a job fair. And because I was a Georgia Tech student studying ESL, I applied and give resumes. And I got a phone call to get a sponsorship and work for a technology company.
Outstanding.
Wow.
Yeah, so I was lucky.
Big bet to pick up and move into a brand new country and still learn kind of the dominant language that that the market speaks while attending one of the most difficult schools or challenging schools, right?
Right.
Yes. I mean, you were feeding from the fire hose in terms of all things challenging at that time.
It was challenging. And,
so what did you get your degree in?
You don't know this. My first degree is as a nurse.
Okay, yeah. That's right.
I am a nurse, and
She's a technologist these days, right?
Yeah.
So I graduated in 1987 as a nurse. I was 17 years old. Our education system in Venezuela is a little different. And so you study extra years in high school. You get a technical degree, and in this case, I studied extra years, so I became a professional nurse.
Wow.
So the plan was to study medicine. That's what my mom wanted.
Every mother does, it seems like.
And actually, I really liked it. I really liked it, and I thought that's what I want to do. But then I learned so many things as a nurse that marked my life professionally and personally. Jack said I am PTSD because...
Because of what you experienced.
Your husband, Jack,
yes.
for our listeners, Jack Allen.
Yeah.
He thinks that because I am germphobic, and yes, I am. But also I learned that if you're late, your patient die.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I learned, I didn't want to be a nurse because I didn't watch people die.
Yeah.
And so I couldn't stomach that every day.
Yeah. You know, I think that's often an afterthought in this profession. You know, we've got family members that served as nurses and in the medical profession, and you know it can be traumatizing because if you're working in hospitals, right? You know, the ICU and where folks are in really bad condition, everyone doesn't make it. There's an emotional rigor that it requires to be there for years and years and years. So. It can take a huge toll, right?
It does. And, maybe because I was very young. And I think if I would be older, a mature adult, I probably would have digested differently some of those experiences. Right. And one of the things, I felt so guilty because I really liked it, and I really liked the service and, the help. And I developed a lot of my soft skills, of dealing with people. And so one of the things that I was always, debating when I was trying to figure it out, do I stay here or do I move? I felt like I was betraying, the fact that I took an oath to help, and I just didn't think I could do it. And I was thinking, is there something wrong with me? And so why I cry all the time? It's not right? Yeah. So because I was looking at me, I didn't see people crying, the other nurses. So I talked to one of my teachers, and I said, how do you do it? How it doesn't bother you, And she's like, what do you think? I am a teacher.
Yeah, good point.
And then it came to my realization that I have options.
Yeah.
I have options. I still like it, but I don't think I can
not
do
your
this.
Path,
exactly.
Right.
It's not my thing. It's not my path. Right.
Yeah. So, a minute or two ago, I talked about how nurses these days are technologists. I was in Columbia, South Carolina, meeting with the founder and leader of ITology, Lonnie Emmerd, who spent a lifetime with Blue Cross Blue Shield, and they founded this neat nonprofit group to help empower and engage and educate and create awareness for to all things technology. And he told me one time, he's like, Scott, there's a huge demand for nurses, but nurses aren't traditional nurses these days. They're working with systems and technology and databases and most of their time. And that really, that was a few years back, when it dawned on me, that can be expanded out across industry, regardless of profession. We're almost required to be a technologist. So making that bridge from your first career to what you're doing now, it's not a bridge too far.
No.
Right?
No, it's not. And you'll be surprised that all the knowledge that I had as a nurse, it helped me to transition into IT, because I remember when I told my mom, I want to do IT. I don't want to be a nurse anymore. And she thought, well, I think your next path is to be a doctor. That makes more sense. That makes more logic. And I said, well, to you, but not to me. So I think I can just, if I'm going to be a doctor, I have to study. I have to read books. Why can't I do it as an IT person? I'm going to be studying. I'm going to be, eating books. I had to sign on the university and whatever. And so there was no such a thing as a woman in my country that it will be in the IT, because it's a male-dominated field, male-dominated country, and a male-dominated industry that I was trying to look, to work. And so my mom she didn't think I could do it, not because she thought I wasn't intelligent. She thought I was going to be hurt.
Yeah, because of the societal
situation. And I said, Mom, it was all an emotional thing. It was no logic.
Right.
And I said, you don't worry about me. I can take it. I know what I'm getting into it. I know that if I'm going to be doing this, I need to show what I can do.
Yep.
Okay.
If your mom could just see you now.
Yeah.
I mean, holy cow.
Yes, yes. So, and it wasn't easy, but I did it. Sometimes, because I was working as a nurse, I would go to school in the evening. I was working a full-time job, and I will go to school in the afternoon, the evening, with my uniform. And everybody like, what is a nurse doing here? And they will make fun of me.
Could you stand out anymore?
Exactly.
Right?
And I was like, in the first I felt out of place, but then I actually felt proud of myself.
Yeah.
Because I was showing them, why are you tagging me?
Yeah.
I can do this, whether I am a nurse or not, whether I am a woman or not. I can do this. And so actually I got a lot of respect from teachers. And, that they actually supported me, that making that transition. They knew it wasn't going to be easy, but I had the load,
Were you motivated by that doubt or calling out or whatever you want to call it, that
adversity?
Yeah, adversity that you experienced there? I mean,
yes, I everybody that told me that I was crazy, I just told them, sit and watch me.
Use that as fuel, right? Yeah.
Yeah, sit and watch me. I'm not doing what you think I am able to do. You don't know who I am.
That's fantastic.
So let's talk about, so clearly you had plenty of folks challenging your path, and then you had some early believers. Even though, as you're talking about your mother, she didn't doubt your intelligence, she was, as Greg put it, was shaped by the societal norms, right? So really she was trying to protect you, I imagine, like most mothers. But any other early role models that really influenced you and impacted your path you can think of?
My mom was my role model because she was very intelligent. She didn't have all the opportunities we had. For her to finish her high school, she put herself in the school. She believed in education. And we didn't have money. There were many times debates with her and my father, whether buy us uniforms and books or giving us food. So I knew education was a big deal. And then I thought, yes, I know you are doing sacrifices, and we're not gonna take it for granted. We're gonna do our best for you to be proud of us, and also your sacrifices won't be in vain, right? So, and with all of that, we are 5 siblings. We all went to college, and most of us have more than 1 degree.
Okay.
Wow.
And where are your 4 other siblings right now? Are they some here, some still back in South America?
Yeah, I have a brother here. He's in Texas, and he works in the oil industry. He's a mechanical engineer. He have a master in a lot of certifications and whatever.
Too many things to count.
Yeah.
Smart guy.
Yeah, he's very smart. And I have other siblings, 2 in Panama and 1 in Chile.
Okay.
So, because as you all know, Venezuela is unlivable.
Right.
Yeah. So,
it's a shame.
but yeah, so she was a role model, and I am who I am. And actually, the last conversation that I had with her before she died was, you should leave the country. You should go and learn English, and that was our last conversation. So after she passed, I was thinking, okay, what I'm gonna do now? And I remember that conversation.
Yeah,
said,
do what mother says.
Exactly. And how she knew that was my path to take, I don't know. I just listened.
Yeah.
And it was good.
Yeah. So looking back, it seems, I mean, at your early age, you made so many right and bold decisions. But I'm going to ask this question regardless. If you were to give your 21-year-old version of yourself any advice looking back, what would that be?
Yeah, when I was 20 years old, I just got my first degree in IT. I got another degree as a computer engineering. I got it in 96, yes. And so by then I was worried that I made a mistake about going into IT. I love it, and I knew what I was doing, but I was thinking, well, how do I need to behave to be able to fit in? How do I need to change the message that I am smart and capable, and I am a good professional, that I am a good programmer? Because I had an IT degree, but they were like, I don't think she knows how to program. I don't think how she can be able to do this.
Why did they have that feeling? Do you think it was because you're a female? Or?
Because I was a female.
Wow.
So,
even with all of your certifications and degrees.
That's correct. So, but the thing was, by then I was, one of the things I can tell myself then is, follow what follow your dream. If this is what I want, don't let people tell you otherwise. And the other thing is, don't try to fit into somebody else's shoes, So just be, sure that sometimes when people doubt you, it's not because of you, it's because of them.
Yeah.
And the sad thing sometimes is when people, many times people told me, you're not good. It was not because my weakness or because what I slack off. It was because what I excel at.
Because
what I was excelling at.
Oh.
Because I got another degree. I was preparing myself to be good, to be good in this field. And a lot of people felt like, well, I know you got the guts to do this and bravery and whatever, but you're still not good. So, and that looking bad, and that now I don't have a problem, but looking bad, I felt like, I wish I didn't pay attention and I didn't listen too much of the negativity that were trying to step in my way, right? Especially with my male coworkers and even people that surround myself, friends and even family, relatives, right? So I look back and I'm so glad I'm so stubborn I didn't listen to any of this.
You can't, negativity will find you, and unless you're a robot, we all get impacted by, some of the
it's erosive,
negative.
Right?
What's that?
I mean, it has an erosive effect.
Oh,
even if you feel convicted in your chosen field or your vision or mission in life or whatever, that can have an erosive effect.
Yep.
Right? And it takes a lot of strength to fight through that.
Right.
Resolve and resilience is what I'm picking up here. And even though you say that you listened too much to that early on, clearly you were full speed ahead regardless, even if it did impact your confidence or your sense of self early on. I think leaders and successful leaders, despite that the human element that we all are impacted with those things, big gulp and keep on going, right?
Yes, and that's one was a problem when to get promoted, because I was doing engineer job, and things like that, and I wasn't getting promoted. And I said, why I'm not getting promoted if I'm doing this job? Well, because you're not an engineer. Oh, okay, that's what I need, a piece of paper. No problem.
So on that note, let's talk about your first of your early promotions. When are your first big win or your first big recognition within your career? What was that?
When I became an engineer.
Okay.
So I went to school, put myself back in the school, and I said, okay, what are you going to tell me now? I had a piece of paper. And then we're like, okay, but wait a minute, how can you be a good engineer? And I said, here we are again, in point zero. And I was like, okay, how I can differentiate myself and send the message that how you look is not what matter, or your gender. How can I do this? So, but guess what I did?
What?
Because of my training as a nurse. Remember when I said, what I learned marked me for life.
Yes.
You should not be late because your patient die, right? So in my country, and you are from Argentina, you must know, be like, it's okay.
Yeah.
Mañana, tomorrow.
Yeah.
So do you want a project done yesterday? I was the engineer you should call. I was the engineer that you should be talking to get your project done on time or ahead. And that is how I differentiate myself. And by the way, I was that engineer that if you had a headache and you were worried about your blood pressure, you come to me.
Who else could do that? That's a really good point.
2 for 1.
Yeah, that's right.
And then I was the engineer where like, oh my gosh, I think a shot of a vitamin, which is okay in my country. You come to my office. Let's do it, So, yes, I didn't need to pretend to be somebody else. I didn't pretend to be a man. I didn't pretend to model after anybody else. I just use my skills that I learned, and differentiate myself and find my niche.
Yeah.
And that is how, as a business owner now, that is how I became an entrepreneur. I started looking for niche.
Well, so we started in the present, we went back, and now we're gonna fast forward back to the present. You were recognized at an event we were both at, the yearly gala at the Georgia Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, which is an organization on the move, by the way, ghcc.org. That's amazing what they're doing there to grow the organization and serve a growing segment of the population here in Georgia and beyond. They're there for all. So you were the 2018 Businesswoman of the Year, right?
Yes.
What an incredible honor. I saw you accept it, and you were beaming, which you should have been. Tell us about the whole process, when you first realized you were nominated, and then kind of some of the reasons why you were nominated maybe, and then what it meant to win.
Well, it was a great surprise and a great honor. It was, like I said, as you have heard my story back, so many challenges and so many ups and downs, and it was Santiago and his team on the ACC recognized that I'm kind of a bit of a unicorn. I am the only woman that is an entrepreneur that owns a technology cybersecurity company and a Latina.
Yeah.
So, and the other thing is, one of the things that I learned is people do business with you because you inspire trust and you can give la ñapa. So there's something that is embedded.
What was that?
La ñapa is get the extra, the
extra
value.
Yes.
So, you give a little more that they ask you.
Yes.
And so you keep people happy that way, but also we always trying to help the business owner, even when they ask us to do a website for them. Sometimes people don't know how they're going to sell. How they're going to sell this business, how they're going to sell this product. And we kind of mentor, because we've already been there so many times. We mentor people and say, well, after you get this website, what you want the first thing people to do? Call you, email you, and then what is your response? So I think we help a lot of our clients. Not only we gave them a discount for via GACC members, but also we help them mentoring and pretty much holding by the hand along the way. And I think also we help a lot of business owners to avoid cyber, to get compromised with cyber attacks and creating awareness and things like that. And that is something that GACC realized that people and business owners can showcase their business and also educate other business owners and things that you're not supposed to know, because that is not what you do business, So by sharing with each other what we do and how we do it, and things that you should know, I think created a great value for all the business owners in the chamber. Sorry, what was the other question?
No, we're talking about your huge honor.
Who cares what the question was? Yeah. That was really good.
Thank you.
There was 1,000 people in the room, and to see good people, you'd be recognized, smart business people in a growing business, in a niche that is underserved. We talked about that, despite all the challenges and the pains and the threats, right?
Obstacles, right? Was there anybody in particular that you wanted to show that award to? I'm just curious. You don't have to name names, but I have a feeling there might have been one or two people that you wanted to show that award to. After
all the naysayers.
Yeah,
you were saying it earlier.
And trust me, there is you'll be surprised that still we have encounter. Because Jack is he's in technology. He worked for Cisco. They think he's the one who knows. I don't know anything, and so. From women.
Oh, that's disappointing.
Really?
Yeah, it is. And I'm like, look, I am trained. I got my first degree in IT since 1991. So I do know what I'm doing. He's not my husband. I love him. He's very talented. But
stay over there, Jack.
To our listeners,
professionals at work here.
To our listeners, Jack is in the room with us. Actually, we've got another podcast this afternoon, so we're having a good time here. But I can see how. Going back to how you started the interview, you get to pick and choose who you do business with, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And even though sometimes we do take business on with naysayers and then prove them wrong, other times it may not be worth the battle, right? But anyway, so I want to shift gears a little bit. So again, huge honor with the GHCC Businesswoman of the Year Award for 2018. Let's talk about getting some of your industry trends and insights, right? So what are some of the industry issues or topics or developments that are on your radar more than others here lately?
One of the things we follow is the giant in technology. All the big companies, they everybody's trying to innovate faster than others, right? And one of the things that they did a survey not too long ago is how many companies, these big companies, are engaging with. to buy what kind of products and services. And what we had noticed is the surveys say is people are trying to get less vendors. They're trying not to deal with so many vendors. They're trying to
That's interesting.
Yes, it's very
Consolidate a little bit.
Consolidate, exactly. So what these big giants and technologies are doing is creating services and products where I am your only vendor because I will give you the technology and the integrations and the architectures
People
and the cybersecurity and process.
Yeah.
And get this, analytics. They want to know right away how their business is doing instead of waiting for the quarter, instead of waiting for the semester, 6 months, or instead of waiting for the end of the year and see if they lost money or not. So it's very interesting to watch how these big companies are really in a big rush to beat the others and to create services and products that gives everything that a business owner need, and just said we have everything that you need to run your business, and by the way, to be profitable and to expand and to grow, and we will hold you by the hand.
Do you think specialization gets lost in that big trend where, it seems like what I'm hearing you say, some of these giants are trying to be the one-stop shop for everything you need, right?
Yeah.
But do you think that specialization, which is so important, is kind of getting lost in the shuffle?
With this trend and changes, I worry a bit about few things, but what I see is a bit opportunity.
Of course you do.
To do business. I always
What else would you see but opportunity?
Opportunities. Because what they are not going to be able to do it on their own.
Yeah.
So what they're trying to do is engage other small businesses to partner with. So we are Cisco partners. Cisco is training us. We're in constant training with them. And not only they're training us in how their technology works, but how to sell. Okay? So that is changing, because before you were kind of, okay, well, you're a partner, you're on your own, so figure it out, you make money. No, they're trying to make sure you make money, because what? What is the relationship? They make money as well.
Yeah, you make money, they make money, right?
That's correct.
Right.
So, and that's something that with that, I see the opportunities to partner, which is good for us as a small business, and also with new innovations, what creates a big gap in talent. We can fill this gap.
Right.
Okay, and as we all know, we have a deficit of engineers and cybersecurity, people with all these, new innovations.
Right.
But the thing is, if we watch where the trend goes and we watch the industry where it's going, they are creating new jobs and new opportunities for new professionals. Where, okay, well, maybe we don't need too many network engineers as we used to, because now everything's deployed in the cloud, and with one dashboard you can deploy routers and switches no matter where you are globally. But you can use the people and to work in automotive and for autonomous vehicles. Yeah. And the new technologies, the drones.
Yeah.
Okay, how we now cybersecurity is moving into how we can protect these autonomous vehicles, how we can protect those drones that UPS and Amazon are deploying. Right.
You don't want those hacked.
Exactly, we don't want those hacked. We want to protect them. So, to me, it's a sea of opportunities.
I think the way that people are deploying this sort of one-stop shop is a lot differently. Look, IBM had this idea decades ago. I mean, IBM started out, first of all, with typewriters, but obviously a hardware company. They included software, then they included implementation and technology and business process optimization. They acquired PricewaterhouseCoopers and did business process consulting and that sort of thing. But I think what a lot of companies like Cisco and Google and other companies have discovered is that at IBM, when they would acquire something, it got lost into this vast black hole, and you never saw hide nor hair of that company again. And it really became genericized, is what you're talking about, Scott. And I think what today's companies are doing is they are leveraging the relationships with specialists to deliver that appropriate level, I guess, or appropriate level of engagement and the appropriate level of company for the appropriate level of customer, without covering it up and burying it in their infrastructure. And I think that's what creates the opportunities for companies like yours and others is you have a value to a certain niche, as you described it, your niche in the marketplace, right? An engineering company that can also give you a vitamin shot, which I find incredibly valuable. Cybersecurity, cyber health.
Exactly.
No, but I mean, you know, in all seriousness, you have the ability to deliver to a certain segment of the population that Cisco or Google or IBM can't even really reach, because people know that they can't do business with those companies. But you create that bridge between these big companies and these smaller companies that need those kind of services. So it's a change in the model.
Yes,
right?
Yeah. And we have to embrace changes.
You got to.
Yeah, we got to, and it's good.
Yeah, you're not. Just because you don't embrace it doesn't mean the change is going to stop, right?
Correct. Yeah. And if you don't embrace it, sooner or later you're gonna be the next Tower Records.
You're gonna get hit by the bus.
Yes, that's right.
You don't want to be that.
No.
You know.
Right.
So let's, in this, speaking of change, this rapidly changing world where information is king, right? Content, information, ideas. It's the latest economy that we're in. What resources do you turn to keep abreast of the latest innovations and developments and products and technologies?
Yeah. As a cybersecurity professional, I like to go to DEFCON and Black Hat.
Oh, yeah, we talked about this last time. This is really cool.
Yeah, the good and the bad and the between. So, you got it.
Let's make sure our listeners may not be familiar with these events. So in a nutshell, what are these events? These are where technology and programming professionals come together to share best practices, but also identify some of the big threats, right?
Yeah.
To have that right?
Yeah, so like Black Hat is more corporate. So you see the big companies, Cisco and, IBM, Google, everybody sharing what they know and what they have fixed and whatever. You see all the vendors with all the products and services that you can have. And also you have these villages where they show you, this is how we hack a car. This is how we have a robot. So it's very fascinating because you can also take trainings before the conference starts. So you got it all. I mean, you get exposed, and they have even a library. You can go and buy the latest books in technology, and cybersecurity and IT and web web operations and all the stuff. And then you have the DEFCON, which is not so much corporate, and you have to keep your cell phone in the house.
Yeah,
and
that's what I remembered when you shared this during one of your previous appearances, is that right when you walk in, unlike everyone else, what do you do?
What do? You do not turn on your phone. You have to bring a flip phone with no contacts. Yes, no contacts, no pictures, nothing.
Wow.
Because
it's like the TSA.
There is people walking around with fake antennas, and you don't know which one is the real AT&T.
This is Tania's approach. This isn't what they require. This is Tania's approach, so that she doesn't open the door to be taken advantage of by these hackers.
And if they hack you, they put you on a screen there in the wall sheet.
Really?
Yes. And they said everything that they got out of you.
Wall of shame.
Yeah. So with the flip phone, That's
Right. You're hack proof.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly. So it's.
Or
it's
what about a
pretty-
brick phone? Would you be hacker proof?
like Saved by the Bell.
Yeah, it's not CDMA, so it wouldn't work.
So real quick to our listeners, Black Hat 2020 and DEFCON 2020 both take place in Vegas this coming year in late July, early August. So,
Yes.
and it's open for folks to attend, right?
Yes, it's open. And last year there was like more than 80 countries.
Okay, we're represented at these events.
Yes, and there were close to 50, 60,000 people. So
Holy
yes, this
man.
is a very profitable business
So you-
for
Wow.
good and bad people.
Right.
So-
And you're bringing it up because it's a great source of information
It
and
is a
best
great-
practices and threats.
and you learn
Yeah.
what is happening and what people is working on to protect or to hack. And
Wow.
yeah, so you see it all.
Okay.
And the other thing is there are local conferences like the Cyber Summit in Georgia Tech and the Hacker Halted, and also we're members of ISSA, the Information System Security Association,
Right.
and ISACA, and also we're very proud members of InfraGard, which is a private, public, FBI, organization.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Man.
And they train us in the latest of homeland and terrorists and hacking that is happening not only in the U.S. but around the world.
Globally.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, you don't waste any time. I bet you've got an information pipeline just attached to you somewhere. Using your nursing
Yeah.
knowledge.
Yeah, and also because we're Cisco partner, we get trained all the time. We have to, and also I'm working currently my CISSP certification.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because you don't have enough degrees.
Yeah,
I know.
learning does not. Learning, there's no arrival.
But
in
it's
learning.
like, you know what I like about IT and technology and cybersecurity? It's like medicine. I
Yeah.
go back to when I was a nurse. You have to learn what's going on.
Yeah.
And it's like medicine. You have to stay current. You cannot afford not to know.
Yeah.
You have to be learning constantly.
Yeah. Wow.
And it's good.
Yep.
Yeah.
I love
So
it.
as we're moving towards concluding this interview here with
Do we have
Tania
to?
Allen, I'd like to talk till tomorrow. There's stuff we haven't been able to get to.
Fascinating.
Thank you.
So Tania, with this next question, it's a lightning question, lightning answer, and then we're going to talk about some of the really neat things you are doing in the robotics STEM arena. But I love this question, so I want to still give you a quick opportunity to answer. From a leadership standpoint, what traits or attributes do you think, if you're putting together a top 3 list or a top 1 list or whatever, what's the most important for extraordinary leaders?
To me, since I was a nurse, trust. People trust you. You'll do the best that you can for them. Also, learn from success and failures. One of the things that I always think is be the best you can be every day, every time you can. Always. Empower people. Not because people don't know, that doesn't mean that is why they choose. I think find the opportunity to always give back and empowering people by educating, by exposing people, by, explaining. And, if you have to do a little bit holding hands from time to time, why not?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It won't kill you.
Yeah, it won't kill you.
Yeah.
And also talk to groups like you, and we do it all the time to tell other entrepreneurs and women and or young boys, don't be scared. Things are not going to be easy, but that doesn't mean it's impossible. You just know that if you're going to be doing it, just play the game and play good to win. So,
I like that.
yeah.
And
Suddenly I'm scared.
Why?
hunting tigers.
Yeah.
Hunting tigers here.
Man.
What's that?
No, you're just, no. I'm just kidding.
So let's talk about, certainly I've noticed via social media and our interactions as we're able to kind of catch up from time to time. ItGresa continues to ramp up its involvement of and support of and resource resources that you're providing to the STEM and robotics space. Love it. I think we talked about right before we went live here about some of this robotics competition. I was volunteered as a judge back in Newton County probably 3 years ago, I think it was. And these kids talk about getting out of getting above your pay grade. You know, or these kids are incredibly sharp, intelligent, engaged. You know, in the judging, as we're able to kind of Q&A during that process, thinking on their feet. Right? I mean, just so sharp, and there's such a rewarding experience. This is the world that y'all live in regularly. Tell us more about that, and then tell us more about what you're doing to support this really important component of, I call it, there's a workforce development aspect to it. There's a engagement of the next generation component to it. There's just being a STEM advocate component to it, and it serves lots of different purposes. But tell us about the space first.
Yeah, one of the ItGresa that it takes a sleep away is we want to build this legacy. I love so much technology, and I think for us to make kids to understand that it's not difficult. And if by reaching kids in a young age, they are going to be more likely to pick when they get to be in college, science, technology, mathematics. And so I think one of the things that we really work very hard. First, we started 7 years ago with our kids. Because
and how many children do y'all have?
We had 3 kids.
3 kids.
Yeah. So when I was in my engineering degree, in my last semester, I took this class, Robotics. And I burned myself so much. And I burned things. And things didn't work. But I had so much fun. Seriously. Yeah. And all my friends said, and I said, I'm going to take this elective because this is the future. And they were like, there is no industries in Venezuela. This is a waste of time. And I said, no. You do your thing, I do my thing. So I did. And I had so much fun. And I remember telling Jack, the school where my kids were in that time, they didn't do these programs, robotics. And I keep telling them, I'm an engineer, I can be able to do this program. I want to run it for the kids in the school, blah, 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 blah. And they didn't listen. And I said, well, you don't listen, but I'm still going to do it. You know, I'm that kind of person. I don't listen, but, you know, I move on. So I move on, and we start doing it in our house. First to our kids and their friends and the classmates and the neighbors. And the thing grew up. So 7 years later, when we think we're so busy that we won't be able to do it, we get a phone call. Are you the robotics lady? When is your classes going to start?
That's awesome.
And I'm like, Jack, I'm sorry, I don't think we can stop this.
Right.
And then the friends of our kids that are being with us since 7 years ago, we have provided letters of recommendations and saying, these kids have this talent to be able to go to advanced programs and charters and magnet schools and to be in STEM. And they have been getting accepted.
That's awesome.
We see it with our children's. They already know they're going to go to Georgia Tech. Not that I'm biased.
No, not of course not. No.
No, that I don't want them to be an engineers.
So beyond the
not that you're biased, go Jack.
That's right. Beyond the academic, the formal academic channels and journeys that this is impacting the work you are doing, speak to just the more of the awareness and I can do that type of, you know, the informal learning that y'all are driving.
Yes. And this is the good thing about us. Not that we're really good, we are. But one of the things that we do is what is the trend and what are the necessities, you know? I see kids that are being in our class, and I said, they need to learn how to solder. They need to learn more electronics. Really? And we put a class together. I want them to learn how a computer works, because you ask them how a tablet works. Oh, I need a Wi-Fi. And I said, no. That is how you connect. And we run a class of a Raspberry Pi. Let's build this computer. This is the brain. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, this has software, this is hardware, this is software, and this is what you do to be able to make those games that you're running in those tablets. And this is how things work. The next chance we're teaching combat robotics, because there are kids that know because they don't like programming, that means they are no material to be engineers.
Right.
Because there are kids that are more drive to get things done right away, especially with kids with spectrums, right? And they are more like to be doers, to build things. Okay? But that doesn't mean they are not going to be good at programming. So what we do is with these kids is start building this. Miss Ali, I'm done. Okay, how you bring it to life? Do you know how to bring it to life? No, I don't know. I said, I'll tell you how. We program it. Yes, I want to do it. And then this is how you introduce the idea of programming, because they want to bring their model to life.
Wow.
And they love it.
That's a very creative way of teaching.
Yes.
Right?
But you have to see and cater and be able to see how you reach your children.
Right.
How
you have to
bring
adapt to their learning style.
Correctly.
Right.
How you bring their attention, how you motivate them. And let me tell you this, you'll be surprised to know this. Like my mom, that she was worried about me getting hurt. And for our children that we love so much, and we're trying to protect them, sometimes we just clip their wings.
Right.
And we handicapping. I mean, it's sad when sometimes the parents bring the kids, the boy, and I see the little girl go directly to the materials. And she's building. Ta, 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 ta. And I say, I think she likes this. And she's like, no, she has gymnastics. And I said, you know what? Leave her. Let's give it a try. In ItGresa, we give them a try.
Right.
You don't have to pay me when I ask you to leave her and go and get your nails done.
Yeah.
You leave the child.
Right.
When the mom comes back, she said, I want to do robotics. And the next week, I want to be an engineer.
Yeah.
I love this. And I said, there's nothing wrong about girls and kids having their hobbies.
Right.
Yeah.
But you find their true love. You find the true motivation.
Yeah.
Where kids sometimes, they don't excel and do well in school, it's not because they are not smart. It's because you haven't reached them. What motivates you? What you really like?
Yeah.
And one of the things that we do in our class is tell us what takes your dreams away at night. What do you want to do?
That's a powerful question.
Yeah. And they're like, well, what do you want to be when you get older? Not professionally, but what do you want to do? What do you want to build? Where do you see yourself?
Assessing, auditing, kind of getting the identifying the constraints in many ways.
Exactly. So like a lot of kids, but that's why we started the combat robotics, because a lot of kids that were not into programming, and we're like, we have something that you like. Boys are so competitive,
Yes.
right? Yeah, they are. I said, you want to compete? Let's do it. Let's go to DragonCon, MomoCon. You build you combat robotic. By the way, you have to be fast. Learn how to fix these things fast, because you're gonna have rounds and rounds, and you can be brittle. You have to be tough to see your robot get busted so many times.
Yes, that's right. I have a niece who did that. She was into robotics competitions. It's pretty awesome to see.
It is awesome.
Well,
yeah.
Our studio, I'm worried that our studio's improvement activities are about to kick back off. So let's want to make sure folks can make the connection with ItGresa. How can they learn more, plug in with any of the things you described, from your consulting work to some of the the industry support, the robotics work you're doing? How can folks learn more?
Where can they drop their kids off to learn robotics?
Well, they can find us in social media, in ItGresa Consulting Group, in Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. Right. We also have a YouTube channel. They can find us in Google. They can Google Tania Allen, and they find me on Georgia Tech website, and they can find me on our website.
Yep.
Also, and
ItGresa.com.
Yeah.
Yes, ItGresa.com.
And also you can email us info@itgresa.com. And you're going to find there our business phone number. And the best way to help your child is giving the opportunity. Don't think that they can do it because you don't know, or because you think that is too complicated. That is in your mind. That is in your head. Just give the child the opportunity. Either start with bringing it to one of our classes, or in their own school, or in the summer camp. There are so many ways to expose the child online. There's so many online classes. You can start by doing that, but just expose the child, okay? And because we need more engineers, and we want to fill some of those gaps with this new generation. They are very technology savvy.
Right.
We just need to engage them and put it in the path where they know what the technology are meant to do.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know.
Well put. Really enjoyed this latest conversation with Tania Allen, President and CEO of ItGresa Consulting Group Incorporated. Learn more at ItGresa.com. You were going to say?
I just want to tell her no, she can't do it one more time and see what she does next. Whatever you're trying, you can't do it.
I'm going to tell you, just watch me.
That's what I want to see. I want to see what that thing is.
Yes, that should be T-shirts.
Yeah.
Gotta get some T-shirts.
Yeah, just watch me.
Just watch me.
Big thanks to Tania. So we're going to wrap up this episode of our Full Access series here on Supply Chain Now Radio on a few final announcements. And again, we encourage you to reach out to Tania. She's a pleasure to collaborate with and learn from. And hopefully you've enjoyed the conversation, interview as much as we have. First off, if there's anything, if you can't find anything that you've heard already on this interview or that you're about to hear, shoot us a note to connect@supplychainnowradio.com, and we'll do our best to serve as a resource for you. I had a couple of interesting questions submitted this morning, Greg, that we're going to feature on some upcoming podcasts, including a gentleman that did not get his formal degree in supply chain, but is highly interested now and wants to know how to build that bridge. So that's we're going to tackle that in an upcoming episode.
Very cool.
All right, but come check us out in person to our audience. Our next event, we just got back from Austin as part of the EFT Logistics CIO Forum, which is now a
Reuters event.
EFT's going through some growth. They were just acquired by the Reuters organization. Had 2 days of fascinating interviews with a variety of technology leaders. Clearly, the trend has continued today. Yeah. Right?
And then you had a two-day drive home.
Which we'll document that in a later podcast.
I had to stop to watch a football game, didn't you?
Holy cow, we sure did. Yeah. So our next event, we're going to be studio bound for the next month and a half. We've got a ton of content that not only we're producing, but we're going to be entering some recording sessions with. Next event in January, we're partnering with the CSCMP Atlanta Roundtable for a January lunch event where they have got a leader from NASTRAC coming out to talk about some of the regulations in transportation and what it means for your business. So you can learn more at atlantacscmp.org. It's open to the public, by the way. We're going to be conducting live interviews there. And then something I know that both Tania and her husband Jack are both aware and involved in, the Reverse Logistics Association.
Right.
Conference and Expo out in Vegas. Yes, absolutely.
And Felicia Persbala, right?
Yeah.
She's a big fan of our outtakes. Felicia is. We're giving her plenty to work with.
We're big fans of the RLA, big fans of what they're doing in a portion of the end-to-end supply chain globally that continues to be much more important. And it should have been important for years and years, but e-commerce really is changing the game in terms of how folks perceive reverse logistics and returns, and for that matter, sustainability. They've got their big event, Conference Expo, out in Vegas in February 2020. We'll be there throughout. You can learn more at rla.org. Finally, tell us about Modex 2020.
Wow. So March, modexshow.com. Modex is alternate years, even years in Atlanta. 35,000 of your closest friends, material handling. They build factories and and warehouses inside this the amazing Georgia World Congress Center, newly reinvented the facility. I don't even know how many square feet this thing is, but it is massive.
347,706. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. I think it's more than that.
I think you're right.
But also on March 10th is the Atlanta Supply Chain Awards. So Modex is helping us host that, and I appreciate them giving us a place to land that, because last year we ran out of space, and we're trying to fit more people into the session this year, and the response has been significant already. And it's an opportunity to award companies in Atlanta or with presence in Atlanta for their excellence in supply chain. So.
Yes, and it takes a lot of leadership to come together to, when you try to serve and recognize and spotlight the end-to-end supply chain in a city the size of Metro Atlanta, which is now 47 counties or something. It's a huge carved-out space. It takes a lot of leaders to come together, and we're really honored to have Tania Allen join our executive committee, where we've got about, 14 current leaders. We're about to be expanding that to about 20 is where we'll end up.
Right.
From across different walks of life, different sectors that these folks come through. But 2 quick points. Yes.
Christian Fisher,
our
keynote speaker.
Which is really important. Georgia Pacific
CEO.
was a big supporter of the first year Atlanta Supply Chain Awards. Cool. And they are continuing to support that with the president and CEO of the organization, Christian Fisher,
and
serving as our keynote.
Want to take the next one?
Please, you do.
Shan Cooper. So she's going to be our MC, right? I can't wait to see.
She could do a keynote. We might could swap out the title.
Maybe we should make them share the stage.
2 keynotes, maybe.
That would be no.
But Shan Cooper, so she's got. It's always neat to get participants that come from. Speaking of leaving a legacy, she served as the senior executive leader of the Lockheed plant here for a number of years, and then she went on to serve as chief transformation officer at Westrock. So she knows end-to-end supply chain.
Yeah, and how.
Yeah, a lot better than me.
Great speaker. So she's going to be MC, and Christian Fisher will be keynote. And so 2 last things here. So Modex is free to attend, by the way. ModexShow.com. Right. Come join 35,000 of your Bring your kids,
friends and neighbors.
If you want to inspire them towards technical adventures.
Yeah,
man.
Absolutely. And Atlanta.
Life-size Tonka trucks and stuff.
To learn more about the awards, AtlantaSupplyChainAwards.com. And again, that's March 10th lunch event, and appreciate your leadership and all the folks that are supporting that effort as we spotlight the best across end-to-end supply chain in Metro Atlanta. And we should mention that we're partnering with the Metro Atlanta Chamber, CSCMP Atlanta, and APICS Atlanta to make that happen once again. Okay.
Wow.
Big thanks to our featured guest today. We could easily in fact,
we're going to have lunch after this, so you guys don't get to listen in, but we're going to continue this conversation
over some delicious empanadas.
Yeah, that's right.
That you can't taste either to our listeners. You have to come check it out and check us out in Atlanta. Tania Allen, President and CEO of ItGresa Consulting Group Incorporated. To our listeners, be sure to check out other upcoming events, replays of our interviews, other resources at supplychainnowradio.com. Greg, where can they find us?
They can find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, SoundCloud, Spotify, and let me think, where else, Scott? YouTube.
Your favorite.
Or wherever else you might get your podcasts.
And be sure to subscribe so you don't miss anything.
That's right.
On behalf of the entire team here, this is Scott Luton wishing you a wonderful week ahead, and we will see you next time on Supply Chain Now Radio. Thanks, everybody.